Hi guys, Dr Rachel Hippolyte here. Okay, so when thoughts get stuck in your head, okay, this is a symptom that I deal with every single one of my clients. Negative thoughts that literally get stuck in your head and you can't stop thinking about them. Okay, so to understand why those thoughts become obsessive and you can't get them out of your brain, let's talk about, meet my brain, but let's talk about the cingulate gyrus. Okay, so we've got the anterior, we've got the middle, and then we've got the posterior cingulate gyrus. And it's the anterior part here that we call the gear shifter of the brain, okay? And that allows us to be able to get a thought and then change that thought. So we get a thought, we go with the flow, and it goes from thought to thought to thought. Now, when that's working too high, which we see in a lot of our clients, what happens is that thought gets stuck in the brain and we literally can't get rid of it, and we go over it and over it and over it. It's like a little hamster on a wheel, and until we do something about it, if we can do something about it, then it feels like you're going crazy. Okay, so generally I'm actually quite high genetically in this part of the brain. Now I have done a lot of work to calm that part of my brain, but when I do become overwhelmed, the first thing that I notice is the symptoms of a high anterior cingulate gyrus. I become very rigid. I start focusing, I'll get a thought or something in my brain and I literally can't get rid of it. I can become very compulsive. Okay, so I'll get a thought and then I'll keep it going and keep it going and keep it going. I'm very obsessive as well, okay? So this part of the brain can generally be high in people with eating disorders. Generally it's high in people with eating disorders early on, but then when they starve themselves too much and the brain's just not getting the nutrients, then generally the brain is just low all over. Very high generally in OCD, and think about OCD, they're literally getting a thought in their head and they can't let go of it. Did I turn off the light switch? Did I turn off the light switch? Did I turn off the light switch? Or it might be, I had a client the other day who is in a loving straight relationship. Am I gay? Am I gay? Am I gay? Am I gay? Now she knows that she's not logically, okay, but this thought that literally is keeping her awake at night, okay? So this is the emotional part of the brain. Now we're teaching her how to come back into prefrontal cortex and calm down that emotional part of the brain. But with me, it might be I'll suddenly recognize that I'm controlling my food a bit more. I'm a bit more rigid about what I would eat. I can become a little bit more compulsive when it comes to exercise. So all of a sudden I'm doing a few too many kilometers on the bike, or what will happen is I don't like change. I'm very rigid. So if I have a meeting planned, or if I have a cycle planned or going to the gym planned, and then something happens to get in that way, I actually find it really quite threatening and quite difficult. Now, I've worked really hard with my brain. I understand my brain like I understand the back of my hand, so I know what to do to recognize the symptoms when I'm getting into trouble in the anterior cingulate gyrus, and I know what to do to then try and calm it down, okay? So what we find with that part of the brain where those thoughts just get stuck, what we find is that generally we're a little bit low in serotonin, and that part of the brain generally responds to serotonin. Now I take a supplement because generally I think mine is a genetic, it comes from my father's side of the family. So I just take a daily supplement to improve and to calm that part of my brain, and it works incredibly well. I also do exercises to use my intelligent brain to question those thoughts. By using my intelligent brain, I'm automatically coming out of emotional brain, out of anterior cingulate gyrus, which will then allow that thought to then move on. Okay, so these are all things that you can do to stop those negative thoughts that are literally getting stuck in your brain. It's really important to recognize that you are in charge of your thought. Remember, every negative thought gives you a negative hormone, which gives you a negative feeling, which feeds the part of the brain that's causing those negative symptoms. And a positive thought will give you a positive feeling, which will calm down that part of the brain and give you a much, much healthier brain, and brain patterns and synchronicity of blood flow and electrical impulses. You do have control over your brain, okay? We think of it as this unconscious thing that's just somewhere that we have no control over. Mental health is under your control. You just need to learn how to make friends with the unconscious part of your brain in order to then make those changes. Because believe me, once your brain is healthy, your mind is healthy and your life is healthy. All right, guys, hope that makes sense.